Om Shanti. Baba has taught us and is teaching us. God Himself has become my teacher. He's my parent. He's my Satguru. But do you stay in the authority of who you are? Yes. So this is Baba's Murli today, and Baba says that I have come and adopted you. But have you become adopted? Okay, so do you understand that you are directly being sustained by God Himself right now? Today's Murli is a little deep, and when I was recording the Hindi Murli and then I started reading the English Murli, particularly today I found that, when a lot is lost in translation. So when you're trying to translate Murli, which is originally in Hindi, into English, then a lot is lost in translation, and sometimes it is very difficult to express the full import of Hindi Murli into English. So if some of you, or I think only one or two of you, have difficulty with Hindi, so I would recommend that you listen to the Hindi Murli that I give every day. Okay, so if you can, instead of just reading the English Murli, you must listen to the Hindi Murli also. And there's another thing that I wanted to talk about. There are some souls also who do not read the Murli or do not listen to the Murli. They only attend the Manthan class. But let me tell you how that is different from reading the Murli. Now let's say you receive a love letter. Okay? And then what you do is you only listen to the summary of the love letter. Yes, you ask someone to just interpret the love letter for you. Then you understand the summary, but you don't get the love. Yes, so the Murli is the love letter that Baba gives you every day. And Baba is talking in the Murli to me, the child. And when I listen to the Murli, and with this understanding and awareness that my father is talking to me through the Murli, or my teacher is talking to me through the Murli, then it's not just about what he is saying, but it's also about relishing or cherishing that relationship I have with my parent or my teacher while I'm listening to the Murli. And this relationship is more important, or at least as important as the knowledge. Because the relationship gives you power. So you can understand the knowledge, but it is that relationship with Baba which gives you the power. And if we are not listening to the direct Murli, then that relationship is lost. That sense of who I belong to is lost. And then children always have this complaint that I understand this, but I'm not able to do it. Yes, I'm understanding whatever Baba is saying, but I'm not able to do it. Because you will be able to do things if you are powerful enough to do it. And that power will come from this sense of who am I, this sense of who I belong to. And this sense of who you really are and who you belong to will seep into you. You will really get this essence of who you are and who you belong to when you listen to the direct Murli by Baba. Because through the Murli, Baba is looking at you as a soul, and you are looking at the one whose child you are, the Almighty, the ocean of virtues. And when you relate to that one, then you come to your consciousness, true consciousness of how powerful you are. So knowledge has its own power, but then the knowledge is telling you to appreciate who you are and who you belong to. And that will happen when you enter into this direct relationship with Baba through the Murli. So this is something, and today Baba is talking about authority. Let's read the blessing and then we'll try to understand it in the context of today's Murli also. Baba says, may your intellect have unshakable faith and make every task easy with the authority of the Almighty Father. Now Baba says, we carry out all tasks with the authority of the most elevated Almighty Father. Let this faith be so unshakable that no one can shake you. By doing so, no matter how big a task you carry out, you will experience it to be easy. Nowadays, science has invented such machinery that you can easily receive an answer to any question and you are free from using your brain. Baba is talking about Google, I think, yes? In the same way, when you keep the Almighty authority in front of you, you will easily have an answer to all questions and also experience this path to be easy. Okay, so let's understand what Baba is saying. I'll first give you an example of what the blessing today is talking about. So I worked in a central government office for many years, and I had a identity card. So I always felt that I have the authority to enter a government building. Yes, because you have this open ID card. Now it so happened that one day, so I used to serve in lot of ministries and I had access to every building because I had that identity card. Okay. Now it so happened one day that I had to conduct a class in a different building. And on that day, I had forgotten my identity card. So I didn't have the ID card that day. And then, so you see this sense of authority that you feel when you have the ID card. So that authority was missing that day. And I was in doubt of how I will enter the building or whether somebody will stop me and then whether I'll be able to conduct the class. And then I called Bhai and said, I have not taken the I card by mistake and now what do I do? So he said, you go and conduct the class. So I said, but how can I conduct the class? They might stop me. So he said, we Baba's children have been serving for 80 years now. And do you think all this service has depended on an I-card? So we have served every corner of the world, and we have served every soul on the planet, and it's all happened with Baba's I-card, right? So it's not happened with any government I-card. So you don't worry. You just know whose service you're at. And then I really felt that yes, am I doing Baba's service with the authority of the Indian government, or I'm doing service, Baba's service, with the authority of the supreme government? And then I tell you, that day I went and nobody stopped me. Nobody stopped me. Nobody even asked to look at my I-card. And that day I realized that I was using the crutch that I never needed. So sometimes you think that your power or your confidence or something else is coming from somewhere else. But then if you just let go of that, then you realize how redundant that was. And Baba is telling us simply that today, that I, this Almighty, belong to you. And there is nothing that you can't do. Whether it is for self-progress, spiritual progress, or whether it is about seva. You can do, Baba has come to uplift me and uplift the world. And he is giving me the knowledge and the power to do both of these things. And if I just take this authority from Baba, then I don't need any other authority to, second my power to do these things. Now let's take very simple examples today. So there are many souls, many Baba's children also, and I sometimes, it's very disappointing to hear that, they say, I can't meditate, or I'm not able to meditate. Now you are the child of the one who teaches how to meditate, and you're the child of the one who makes this world heaven by teaching Raj Yoga. Why can't you meditate? There is no reason why you can't meditate. And what is meditation? Remembering your parent. That's meditation. So what's so difficult about it? So Baba says, why don't you stay in the authority of who you are and who you belong to? And I will tell you one thing. I had this classmate in school, and she was a really scared person, always. She couldn't slap somebody. She couldn't do anything. Like she couldn't she couldn't go and talk to somebody if she had to. She had no courage. And then one day, I gave a very wrong example of courage, but that's how you define courage when you're in school. So we always thought that she's very, she has a lot of lack of courage because of that, the things that she said and did. And then she became a doctor. And now she can operate and she can do this stuff. And then one day I asked her, so you couldn't see blood, you couldn't see any pain, you didn't have the heart. Then how did you have the courage to pick a an instrument and cut a body and still believe he'll be okay. So, did you not become afraid that it could go wrong or you could end up killing somebody? So then she told me something very interesting. She said, "You know, I'm a doctor. So when I was pronounced a doctor, I know I can do these things. So I studied, and my study made me a doctor, and I can obviously do these things." So now you see that knowing who you are matters so much. Yes, knowing who you are matters so much. If you know you are a doctor, you can perform an operation, although you didn't do anything anywhere close to that in your whole life. And knowing that you're a doctor gives you that authority, that internal authority that, yes, I can do that. And Baba says, here you are the child of the Almighty. And you are learning from the Supreme Teacher. And do you always stay in that authority of who you are? Because that authority is a very powerful position to be in. And when you are in that authority, then everything becomes very easy for you. And I remember there was this young girl, and she was, I think, 21 or 22, and she had graduated from a foreign university, and she came to the center, and she was very puzzled, and she didn't look like she had come after thought. She just, it looked like she had come by chance. And then I asked her how she had come to the center, and she told me that she complained the psychiatrist about anxiety, and then he gave her some pills, and then the next day she went to a doctor, a physician. She had some stomach pain, and that physician gave her some medicines, and then the physician said, "You come back tomorrow." So she said, "No, I have to go back to the psychiatrist tomorrow." Then the physician said, "Why do you have to go to the psychiatrist?" So she said, "I am anxious, and he has given me some pills, so I need to go for a checkup or, a revisit." Then this physician said, "Okay, so before you go to the psychiatrist, why don't you go to a BK center?" And he gave her the address, and he said, "Don't take those pills. You just go and visit the center, do the course, see how it works out for you, talk to the Didi. And then if the Didi doesn't have time for you, you come to me, talk to me. Don't first take the pills. Let's see how we can deal with this without the pills." And this is how that journey started. And when she came, she asked me a very good question. She said, "Who are you?" She said, "I don't know BKs. I don't know what you do. I don't know what this place is. So who are you, and why does the doctor say that you are in a position to treat me? Do you have any degree? Do you have any, are you a psychologist? Are you a psychiatrist? Who are you? So how can I be sure that you can treat me?" And that was a very good question, and I loved it coming from that young girl. And then I said, "I am your sister. This is your home, and God is your parent, and I will give you what God has given and what will work best for you." And she just smiled, and she said, "This is a this is an answer I never expect in such a place, but okay, if you are my sister and this is my parents' home, and you are talking with so much of love, I surrender to you. And you give me what my father wants to give me, and I will take it and let's see how it works. And do you know, incidentally, she had lost her father. So Baba gave the right support to her, in the sense that she felt that she had a father now, and she got well within 10 days, and everything that she was complaining of had gone. So Baba says, never think that you cannot give a soul what they need, because I'm here to give every soul what they need. And beginning from you, you can give what you need by taking it from Baba. And then you can give others what they need by taking it from Baba. And that's the kind of authority you have. So there is nothing with your mind or your buddhi or your sanskar or your body which cannot get corrected. There is nothing about your past or your future which cannot get corrected, because you are learning from the Supreme Teacher. You are in the hands of the Supreme Parent. And Baba says, this is the kind of authority you have, but just check whether you always stay in that authority. Yes, and you see that Baba's children around the world have become instruments for service in such big ways, and they have been able to bring happiness and peace and realization and power in the lives of so many. And do you think that there is any other qualification apart from this qualification that you belong to Baba that makes this possible? So Baba says this is something that you should always stay in awareness of, that you belong to the Almighty. And when you always stay in this awareness, then you are in great authority. And also Baba says that people have access to Google, but you have access to the ocean of knowledge. So if you ever have any question, then that question can get solved in a second. And I'm sure each of you who is sitting in the class has this experience, that when you listen to the Murli or attend the classes, then Baba answers every question you have. There is no question about whether it's the spiritual journey, whether it's about what you do every day in your workplace or with your relationships. Every question Baba answers. So Baba says, you don't even have to type, this relationship works so well that Baba answers every question from you for you, even without you asking it or typing it. And with Google, there is another problem, that Google always gives you the answer according to how you ask the question. So, if you just rephrase the question, it will give you a different answer. But then Baba tells you the truth, whether you are phrasing it in any way. So even if you don't know how to use the right language, and I have always served in India, so I didn't have much experience with, Baba's children who belong to other cultures and other religions and countries. But after this online seva, there are Baba's children who cannot speak either fluent Hindi or fluent English. And still I have seen them listening to Hindi classes very well. Like absolutely they get it. And when they talk to me, I get them completely. And that's something very beautiful. And sometimes, that soul on the other end would tell me, Didi, I don't know Hindi very well, or I don't know English very well. So I don't know whether you'll be able to understand me. And I say, just you be soul conscious and talk, and I'll be soul conscious and get it. And I've seen that even if only two words in a sentence are actually making sense literally, I'm able to make out the whole sentence or the whole conversation based on that. And that's something very beautiful, because I understand that there is Baba in between us at that time, and Baba is facilitating that conversation. So all of this is happening in real time. And Baba says that this is the authority of belonging to the Almighty. But let's think for ourselves whether we are exercising that authority all the time, or we stay in these limitations of, my body, my language, where I'm permitted, where I'm not permitted, or what I'm capable, what I'm incapable of. All that is very body conscious. You are capable of everything altruistic right now. And this is what Baba is saying in the blessing. And today in the Murli, so there is an observation, and Bhai says that when I was listening to today's English Murli, I felt or was unclear when it talks about different types of temples, small and big size, and with the amount of gathering and its significance. Okay, so I told you that today's Murli is taking a lot of reference from practices in the Hindu religion. Okay, and also it is taking a lot of reference from the festivals that we celebrate in India. So without all that referencing, it's very difficult to understand today's Murli. So I will come to this, but first I will talk about what Baba talks about in the Murli, about Purushottam Sangam Yug. So whenever Baba says Sangam Yug, confluence age, Baba uses another word which is Purushottam. And what that means is, usually it is translated as elevated confluence age. But what it actually means is an age, a confluence age, in which you change from ordinary to elevated. Okay, so the Purush or the Atma changes from ordinary to elevated in this confluence age. And Baba says that in the Hindu religion, there is a Purushottam Mass, or there is a whole month celebrated in remembrance of this Purushottam Sangam Yug. And what people do in that month is, they observe fast, they do some fasting, and they do charity work, which is Dan Punya. Okay? So Baba says that, just like I explained one day to you, that everything that we celebrate on the path of devotion is in remembrance of this time of the confluence age. And whatever is happening at this time is celebrated in a different form in devotion. And Baba says, it is at this time, in this Purushottam Sangam Yug, that you are performing good karma, punya karma, and also you are observing a fast. And because of this, even when they celebrate the month of Purushottam, then they observe fasts and do charity or punya, dan punya. Okay, now what do we do as Dan Punya as this time? And what is the fast that we observe? Now, let me tell you, there is no English equivalent for the word Punya. So, people translate it as charity, but that's not what it means. So, there is a word for pap, which is sin, but there is no opposite of sin in English. So there is no concept of punya in English. Okay. So now what is punya? Punya is the opposite of pap. Now what is, when you say sin, you understand that when you do something that gives you a spiritual, loss. So spiritually you earn a debit. That's sin. And a spiritual credit is called punya. So when you do something that makes you earn a spiritual credit, that's called punya. Something that you can encash later on. Okay, so something that's there in your account and you can encash at a different time, that's called punya. Now Baba says, how do you earn this punya in this Sangam Yug or conference age? Baba tells us something very interesting. So let's read the question. Baba says, what is the greatest charity that you children perform at the conference age? So Baba says, you completely surrender yourself to the Father. That is, you completely sacrifice yourselves. This is the greatest act of charity. So, when people want to earn some punya, they usually give up something. They donate something. So when you donate, you earn punya. It's said like that. But then Baba says, what if you donate your whole being? So at this time, you completely surrender yourself to Baba. Mind, body and wealth totally. That's the act of punya that you do in conference age. And it is said that when you do, so I will tell you one thing. There was this one brother and he once came and told me that I have a big business, and then what if I give you 30% of my income every month? Total, I could just come and give it at this center. So I said, but you have to become Baba's student. So he said, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just come and give 30% of my income here. So I said, why? So he said, because I just want to give it. So I said, no, because it's coming from unfair means. So he said, probably. So I said, okay, so you want me to carry 30% of the burden of your pap. Yes, so you want me to suffer 30% for your pap. That's not happening. We don't do this thing. So he said, but you need money. So I said, no, I don't need money. I need pure money. Because this is pure karma going on. So you cannot give something which is coming from vicious means, and it cannot get purified this way. Yes, so then he said, what's the other alternative? I said, you surrender completely. That is, you give your mind, your body along with your wealth. And then Baba will purify that. So when Baba purifies your being, when you belong to Baba, then you will change the way you earn your wealth. And then your wealth will become acceptable to Baba. So there is this word that Baba uses today, which is sacrifice. You sacrifice yourself totally to Baba. And this English word sacrifice is very interesting because it means to make sacred. Okay, so when you sacrifice, that thing becomes sacred. So Baba says, if you surrender totally, so your mind, your body, your wealth, your relationships, everything has become vicious right now. Yes, everything has become vicious. So what you do is you surrender completely to me. And when you surrender completely to me, then everything becomes purified. So sacrifice will make it sacred. And then everything you will get will be pure because of this sacrifice. So this is the way to earn spiritual credit right now. This is the way to become Punyatma right now. When you sacrifice all of you, because all of you has become impure. Okay, you cannot sacrifice part of you. That it doesn't work like that. Yes, so you have to sacrifice all of you. Now, what does it mean to sacrifice all of you? So Baba says it means to get adopted by Baba. Now, what is adoption? So when there is adoption, then you listen to your new parent about everything. Yes, you follow the dictates of your new parent totally. So Baba says, I will give you directions about your mind, body, wealth, relationships, everything. And you only listen to me and you're only answerable to me. That's how it works from now on. So you listen to Baba and you're answerable to Baba alone. That's sacrifice. Okay. So when you surrender completely, it means that you only listen to one Baba and you're only answerable to one Baba. And with everyone else, it's just it's just a physical transaction. So that's how Baba says, this is the way you earn punya in this birth. This is the way you earn your spiritual income in this Sangam Yuga. And then about the fasting, so there is a fasting also. So Baba says, you are making effort to forget your children, homes and families. This is your vow. This is how you fast. So you keep your buddhi detached from your home, children and families. So they don't pull your buddhi anymore. This is the fast you do. Now Baba says, when you die, the world is dead for you. So you die in this confluence age. You die from your old life, your old memories, and you just belong to this new parent. This is what you do in the confluence age, and because of this, in the Purushottam Mass, they observe fasts and they do charity work. Now Baba says, you are now becoming liberated from vicious relationships and you finish all relationships with everybody and just have one relationship with one father. And then when you enter into a relationship with any other person, it's an indirect relationship. And what does an indirect relationship mean? You are related to them because you belong to the same father. And then your relationship with that one is not vicious. Yes, it is not based on the give and take of vice, whether attachment or lust or greed or anything. Yes, you look at them as Baba's child. So you forget the old relationship you had with people. You remember that you have all relationship with only one Baba. And then when you enter into relationship with other souls, you enter into indirect relationships with them. Then it's not a vicious relationship, it's a spiritual relationship. Okay? Om Shanti.